Hey everyone, Sheree here. Today I'm going to be creating a traveller's notebook spread featuring some really fun stamps from Kerri Bradford Studio. So what I've done in preparation is I've printed out my photos, and I'm going to use this photo as a full page photo for one of my pages. As you can see, there's not a lot going on. It's just the beach scene. Like, I really do like this photo though. This is what we saw as we're walking along, and I like that there's this flag on the left hand side, and I'm actually going to use the red and yellow from the flag as my accent colors on the other side of this spread. So hopefully it's going to turn out okay. We'll see as we go along. Now, because this is a big photo and there's a lot of blank space here, I've actually got these two smaller photos. They're about 2-inch square, and I'm thinking I might actually just layer those onto that photo because there's so much blank space here and you still have that beach scene in the middle. So that's something a little bit different that I don't normally do. So that's what I'm planning for the photo side of it, and I don't think I'm going to add any stamping or anything. I think that's fine just the way it is. For my journaling though, I've decided to go with some lined paper, and I've used a really old piece of scenic route paper. I don't know if you remember this, but everyone was using this at one point a few years ago, and I still have a few pages left, so I'm going to use some of that. So what I did was I opened up Photoshop, created a page in there to the correct size. I added in my journaling, printed it out, and then I just cut my paper to size, added it over the top, added some washi tape to the top of that so that it would stay together, ran it through my printer, and now I have it printed nicely onto my paper. So that's my journaling. I've got a couple of strips of red and yellow paper. This one is a Felicity Jane solid paper from one of the kits that I'm just going to add across the bottom there. And then I've got this little strip of red Echo Park paper with these little flowers on it, which I thought would be a nice little addition. So I've got those there ready to use. I've got some red and yellow inks here from Ellie Edwards, and now I have my stamps. So let's go through what I'm going to use today. So I've got the new Southern California stamps. I love these. I live in Australia, but there are still plenty of stamps on this stamp set that I can use with the palm trees. There's lots of phrases here that I can use. So it's a really fun stamp set. So I'm going to use a couple of the phrases here. I've got one that says along the coast and another one that says sunny days are good days. So I've picked out those to use. I'm also going to use these stamps for my title. So I've got the Willow Lower stamp set, and I'm using these letters here in this size, and I've actually already grabbed my stamps and put it onto my block, so they're already nicely spaced out. For the word at, I've used the smaller ones on this side here. I've got at the and mornings on this block. And then for the other part of my title, which is the word beach, I'm going to play around with doing a mixed color title. So I've got the headline lower small stamp sets, which is a solid stamp, and then I've got the outline here, which is the headline lower small outline. So I'm going to use those together. I'm going to add two different colors to my stamp block to add a little bit of interest to this title. I've also grabbed this older stamp set here. It's called Away, and I really wanted a little bit of sunshine, so this little sun image here is going to be perfect. So I've got that there as well. So I think I'm ready to make a start. So I will pop you on fast forward and show you how I'm going to put this one together. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just going to finish off my photo page by adding those two square photos onto the page. So I do have some foam tape behind each one just to add a little bit of dimension, just to make it a little bit more interesting on this side of the spread. So I'm just going ahead and eyeballing it, just getting them into position and lined up as best I can. And that's all I think that page needs, and I'm just going to leave it as is. So for the journaling side of my page, what I'm going to do is use my stamps on this top notch tag. This is a free tag cut file that you can get at Kerri Bradford Studio, and I love it. It's a little bit different to normal tags. I just love the shape. So what I'm doing is just tapping my ink pads onto each half of this beach word. So I use the yellow on the bottom half of the word and the red on the top half. And I used the darker color last, so there was very minimal ink transfer onto that red ink pad. So I'm really happy with how that is stamped up onto the tag. So now I'm using the outline stamps to stamp over the top of each of the letters. Now it doesn't matter if you don't line them up perfectly, it still looks great. So I'll work my way through the word here. I'm just finishing off with the H on the end. And then I'm going to finish off my title by using the Willow Lower stamps. Now I already have them on my block. So I'm just going to add the words at the, and then at the top I've got the mornings word to go on there. So I've used the two different sizes from the stamp set. I love that it has a variety of sizes on this Willow Lower stamp set. It's really fun font, and I'm really happy with how that has turned out. Okay, so while I'm stamping, I'm also going to stamp a couple of phrases from the Southern California stamp set. So this one here says sunny days are good days, and I've also got the along the coast stamp, and I love that it's that scripty font. So I'm just cutting out that phrase that's going to be going underneath where it says along the coast there. It's not stuck down just yet, but I also want to add those strips at the very bottom of the page, and I will be adding some stitching around the border and across these strips that I'm adding now. So just using a little bit of double-sided tape on the back there. I don't want to use too much so that my needle in my sewing machine doesn't get too sticky. Okay, so now I can go ahead and add that phrase underneath as well. I will be stitching across that. I always try to put the double-sided tape at the top half of the back of those pieces so that I'm not stitching over too much of the adhesive. I've decided I wanted to add that little sun image. I'm using the same yellow ink, just adding that to the top there, just at the top edge of where that tag is going to go. Really happy with that, turned out really well. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around the tag, around that border of the page and across those strips and the stamped piece too. So I've done that. I've now just added the twine to the holes of my tag there, and I can go ahead and add that just above the journaling, just lining it up with the bottom edge of that sun image as well. Alright, all I need to do now is add the date down the bottom, and I'm using the awesome year-round stamps. This is such a versatile stamp set, I love it. So just added that down the bottom, and now this spread is complete. So I'll give you a closer look at the details there. You can see all those stamped pieces, and I will add it into my album. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I put this one together today. It was really fun playing with this mix of fonts and mixing up the colours there as well. Please let me know if you've got any questions. Just pop it down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I look forward to bringing you another project very soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye for now.